All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you again out of Detroit, back with another video. I know you guys don't like to talk about Roland Martin and probably The View because they some of the biggest offenders from the liberal left as far as the black community. Now, it seems they have a concerted effort to undermine anything positive or just anything that this administration may do. They have you feeling like Trump striking Iran and destroying those nuclear capabilities was something wrong. But what does the world look like with Iran having nukes? You know, then on the Christian left, they act like they don't read the book of Revelations about Babylon the Great falling, how it became the habitat of every unclean bird and foul spirit, the attack on the Mag and the Magog, the attacks on Israel. You living in the time of Revelations. But these black preachers, they so busy trying to make money with their 501c3s, trying to become pseudo-politicians, and they're using their pundits who are all taking money from the left. Roland Martin wants you to believe that Trump has an anti-black agenda. But if you notice, people wasn't calling Trump a racist when he was going to court with Michael Jackson, palling around with Mike Tyson, flew Jennifer Hudson to Trump Tower after her family was taken out. You know what I mean? When he was giving Jesse Jackson money, giving Al Sharpton money, hanging out with Don King and even Muhammad Ali. You never considered Trump a racist until the Democrats started telling you he was a racist when they wanted your vote. Now, we're going to watch Roland Martin as he debates. He wants to say that everything that's going on with this administration is a anti-black agenda. When you really look at our communities, we are the most anti-black in our own communities. We are more violent with each other, and there's no outrage. There's no outrage unless it can be monetized or unless there's a racial component. But in all actuality, we self-destructing. And I want you to listen to this. Listen to Roland's debate. And this for fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary. Check out y'all boy Roland.
Plantation. It's always the plantation language they uses. And I'm like, okay, great. So if you're going to support a Republican, support a conservative, that's fine. But are you going to also say anything where they are anti-black with their agenda? The reality is that Donald Trump's agenda thus far has been extremely anti-black with a number of initiatives that he has announced. I'm not talking just about his attacks on DEI. I'm talking about very clearly his a variety of anti-black position that he has taken. Shelley Winter, conservative radio talk show host in Atlanta.
He wants to say that Trump's administration, like I told you, is attacking blacks because they got rid of DEI and other things that didn't benefit black men and black people any more than it benefited other races. He wants you to actually feel victimized versus feeling empowered because you're making decisions about who you vote for and what you want in your own community. Listen to some more, Roland.
Well, he supported Donald Trump. He participated in, it was a barbershop conversation, I think, in Atlanta. He joins us right now. Shelley, glad to have you here. First question, last week, Juneteenth, of course, took place last week. And if I recall correctly, well, we actually see it, Donald Trump in his so-called platinum plan the first time, he actually touted making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Yet, this Juneteenth, his White House decided to pretty much ignore Juneteenth. Carolyn Levitt was pretty dismissive about it. We're going to have, we have that ready. Go ahead and play it.
On Juneteenth, Does the president plan to commemorate the holiday today or make any comment on it?
I'm not tracking his signature on a proclamation today. I know this is a federal holiday. I want to thank all of you for showing up to work. We are certainly here. We're working 24/7 right now. Nikki, go ahead.
Actually, that was my question. Will you plan to mark Juneteenth in any way, either today or with an event later on, maybe next week?
Sure. I just answered that question for you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Caroline.
Okay, all right then. And then, of course, Trump later released a post on Truth Social saying that too many non-working holidays in America. It's costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, he dropped that on Juneteenth. So, Shelley, here's the question. Was he lying before, or is this the real now? Because before, in his so-called platinum plan, he was talking about, oh, let's make Juneteenth a national holiday.
This guy Roland is reaching. They want to make Juneteenth some type of celebration that uplifts black people in the black community. Have y'all ever really studied the history of Juneteenth? How can you go around celebrating slavery, even if you're saying you were released from slavery? You still didn't get any reparations. You still didn't get any 40 acres and a mule or nothing you were promised. So what's so celebratory about it? Tokenism.
What happened?
I don't think anything happened, Roland. I think, well, first of all, thanks for having me. Second of all, Friday on my show, I opened my show with a very heated rant as to how I disagreed fundamentally, totally opposed what he tweeted out. I even went on to say that this is the kind of thing that frustrates me about him, because it's unnecessary conversations that he forces us to have, because these are just dumb things. What I think happened, and I'm not defending at all, what I think happened was, I know there's a number of African-American conservatives out there on YouTube and in other places. I saw Wesley Hunt, Congressman Wesley Hunt, who I respect and love a lot and agree with on 99.9% of everything, was on Bill Maher this past Friday, and he said it wasn't a holiday that he terribly cared about. I just think that...
Hold on 1 second. Wesley Hunt said it was or wasn't?
Wasn't. It's not the biggest thing in his life. He's not really concerned one way or the other. And let's be honest.
So you're saying that a Texas congressman, a black man from Texas.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Roland, that has nothing to do with it. The man has a point.
No. Allow me to finish.
No.
Shelley,
you asked me a question. Can I answer
1 second. I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to make this point, which speaks to your point. So you're telling me a black man from Texas, who's a member of Congress, it is blowing off a holiday that actually was first a state holiday in the same state of Texas.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
And I have no problems with that. I have no problem. I would have a debate. I'll have a debate with anybody as to the number of federal holidays we have. Is it too many? Do we need more, or whatever? I think that's a different debate to have.
So when he said that he was going to make it a federal holiday, do you think that was BS?
No, I think he was honest about it, because the Platinum Plan was brought to him by African Americans within his orbit, who was on his team. So I think it was legitimate. Everything in the Platinum Plan was legitimate. He wanted to do them. Trump's he's a pragmatist. He doesn't necessarily have a policy bone. He has policies or principles that he stands on, but for the most part, he listens to most people, every other president has.
So you actually thought the Platinum Plan is legitimate?
Absolutely, it was legitimate.
That's interesting.
Ask Ice Cube if it was legitimate.
Actually, it wasn't legitimate. But I don't have to ask Ice Cube.
How do you know what was?
Here's why.
How do you call something illegitimate that never got to the table?
Well, Shelley, here's why. Because first of all, he had the Platinum Plan initially when he ran for re-election and he lost. Then he issued another one when he ran again. And this is what the second one says: grow minority-owned businesses with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring and investment, encouraging onshore. One second, Shelley, I'm not done reading. Allow me to finish reading it. I'll let you respond. Hold on.
No, I don't.
Shelley,
one by one.
Shelley, no, Shelley. I'm going to read them. I'm going to read the 3 or 4, then let you respond.
Read one by one.
No, Shelley. Shelley. You don't tell me how to host my show. Okay?
But I'm saying, but you're telling
Shelly,
me how to answer the question.
Shelly.
Look how rude Roland being. Roland wants to do it the way he want to do it because he wants to push his narrative. He's made so much money race baiting and race hustling, but you can't name anything that Roland Martin and his crew have did for the black community. Name one.
I'm reading what specific.
Why do I do
one
this to
thing.
myself?
If you just, first of all, just
Literally,
chill.
why do I do this to myself?
Shelly, if you just chill, let me finish the damn thing. You can answer. This is what he said. He said, under jobs, seek infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in the annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities. Grow minority-owned businesses with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring and investment. And then it says, invest almost $20 billion toward broadband and internet access to create job opportunities. That's what he had in here. Now, his own administration is trying to get rid of the federal DBE program that actually speaks to the contracting. One. Two, they actually, with Doge, cut the broadband money. So I'm confused. He issued a platinum plan saying I'm gonna do those things, but then he wants to get rid of those programs. Those two seem to be be contradicting one another.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not, sir. You know how? Because I don't, and most black business owners don't see themselves as doing business as minorities. They're doing business. So if you look at what Kelly Loeffler's doing at SBA, you will see 1 that you read and 3 that you read.
He made a good point when he said that the black business owners are doing business because they're doing business, and they serve a multitude of nationalities. So why are they still pushing this victimhood mentality as if black people need to be validated through government, through symbolism, through tokenism, instead of getting out here building their own like they have always done prior to being on the Democratic plantation?
Activated right now.
Like what?
But if you're standing, hold on, let me finish. If you're standing on the sidelines calling everyone a racist, you have no access to that money.
I didn't say
But
racist.
listen to me.
I didn't say racist.
Listen to me.
I didn't say racist.
Listen to me very clearly. Listen to me very clearly. Don't cut me off, brother.
I'm listening to you clearly, but I didn't say racist.
You're cutting me off. I didn't say you did. I said if anybody is.
Shelly, keep going.
Because your point was insinuating and implying it.
No, I didn't. Listen, first of all, I don't insinuate.
Whatever.
I don't imply. I either say it.
Roland Martin argues like a woman, not putting women down, not being no misogynist, but he argues like a woman arguing with a man, not two men arguing. If you can understand or see it, watch him.
Kelly Loeffler right now, the SBA, Small Business Administration, right now, as we speak, they're having meetings about, number one.
He perks his lips, he moves his eyebrows, he makes all them faces where, as most men keep a stern look if they're debating.
That you read, and number 3 that you read.
Really? They having meetings about the contracting?
Dude, man.
No.
Dude,
Hold on.
yes, about the contract.
Stop.
About grants. About grants. Also, what Biden never cut out was opportunity zones. That's still
I'm sorry. Hold up. First of all, Shelly, you didn't answer the question. Donald Trump.
I didn't answer the question.
Shelly, Donald Trump's administration has a legal.
I answered the question. Continue to answer the question.
Shelly.
Dude, man,
Shelly.
Like, seriously, I feel like I'm talking to my girls.
Shelly,
Let me talk.
first of all, you ain't talking to the girl because she ain't smart as me.
I mean, I feel like if you don't let me talk.
Shelly, let me say it again. The Donald Trump administration has put forth a filing in a court case where they said they want to completely get rid of the $37 billion DBE program. So how in the world, Shelly, I'm not done. How in the world can you expand opportunities in what they list in the annual $500 billion? Shelly, excuse me.
Competing with everybody else.
I'm not done, Shelly.
By competing.
Shelly, I'm not done.
Sir,
Shelly,
you're a grown-ass honest man. Compete for the money, like everybody else.
Shelly, this is very simple.
Now let me finish.
Shelly,
Let me finish,
first
man.
of all, I haven't
Let me
finished,
finish.
so therefore you're not going to finish. Let me say this, and then you're going to talk.
Wow.
Okay.
You right here. He's talking about expanding opportunity.
I don't know why you keep cutting people off, though.
Shelly, I'm not cutting you off. I'm letting you talk, but can you please? You cut me off from asking a question. Now, Shelly, I'm not going to waste time going back and forth over asking a question. I'm going to ask it, then you can answer it. Now,
Go ahead.
thank you. You have to give me permission to go ahead. It says you want to expand a program that you're actually cutting. You want to invest $20 billion in broadband that was already passed by Congress and signed into law by Biden that they cut. So how can you invest $20 billion in broadband, especially in rural areas, when Elon Musk, Donald Trump, they cut it? Those two don't go together.
Okay, so I answered that. The first statement that you made, the first line, jobs. I answered that. I answered the tax cuts. I'm going to answer now, and then I'll get to the
No. I asked you about broadband, not tax cuts. So answer the question that I asked,
you brought
not what you want to ask. No, Shelly, I just asked you about broadband. I'm going to ask you again.
About tax
Shelly,
cuts
I'm going to ask
tax cuts.
Shelly, I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you again, Shelly.
The answer to the first
Shelly,
question,
I asked you about broadband. Answer the broadband
this
question.
is like arguing with my wife.
First of all, I don't care about your wife.
Yeah, but you don't let nobody talk. You're like a woman, man.
No, I'm not like a woman. I'm like a man, a black man who's asking a specific question, and you want to answer on your own terms. Answer the broadband question. How do you invest in broadband when you just cut it?
Because the money went to the states. Georgia has a huge spending in broadband. Brian Kemp won 2 elections against Stacey Abrams because of his investments in broadband. The money exists in the states. Now, let me go back to the tax cuts.
Hold on, what money? Did the money come from the federal government?
The federal money goes to the states. But they cut
First of all, your Wi-Fi is not good, so you might want to get on Ethernet.
And now, because of the cuts.
Hold on, wait, one second. No. First of all, your video broke up. You said the money. What money did Doge? What broadband money did they cut? They cut the money that actually went to states.
And if you look back now, go back to the big beautiful bill.
It hasn't passed.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. You asked me a question, man. Go back to the big, beautiful bill, and you'll see money's in there for broadband for rural areas. And now what we have to do as black businesses is compete for those contracts.
So they
which
cut,
is completely...
So they cut the broadband... Shelly, I just want to be clear.
For this. I really don't. They cut a big show to do tonight.
Roland knows what he's saying. He's saying that they're cutting the DEI and they're cutting certain bills because it interferes with competition. You know, Roland wants you to think that he's an advocate for black businesses and the black community when everything he does handicaps you. It handicaps you into the victimization thinking that keeps you always looking for a handout or something instead of competing. He knows exactly what the man is saying.
Shelly, I'm confused, Shelly. They cut.
Mr. Childish.
Shelly, I'm confused.
I'm talking and you cut me off.
Shelly, no, Shelly, I want you to clarify something.
That's dumb, man.
Shelly,
I need you
to clarify something. They cut the broadband money that was all. Shelly, let me finish. They cut the broadband money that was already passed, and they gonna put the money back in?
No, I didn't say that. What I said was broadband monies. They're not cutting broadband from rural areas. A lot of the broadband money that Doge cut was from the previous administration because it was too much. So that's why they cut it back, and it's now in a big beautiful bill. There's monies in the big beautiful bill, which is why a lot of conservatives like myself are against this bill because it still has the same level of spending that Biden had spending in his administration. And Republicans ran on cutting spending, which is why so many of us are against against this big, beautiful bill because the spending levels are still there, inclusive of broadband. Now, let's go to the tax cuts that you mentioned, because
I'm listening.
that, didn't you?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Right. So the tax cuts. Now, in the tax cuts that we're trying to get passed, extending the Trump tax cuts from 2017, is that does help black businesses.
How?
Because if tax cuts are in there for capital gains, which helps every single day trader out there.
Enough of this race baiting. What kind of argument do you want to keep making that you want bills and things that specifically go towards DEI and racial identity and racial politics? This is identity politics. And Roland is still making his money off of identity politics and never offering solutions. You never see any work or debate that ends in something actually manifesting for the black community. It's time out for us to even listen to these people. These people have been sold us out. He has even been on his platform saying that the National Baptist sold out, the Kojic Church sold out. When in all actuality, he has been the one that's been selling us out for decades. So now he attacks the church. He says everything that Trump does is anti-black. He makes a lot of money from getting people to buy off into that instead of buying off into the fact that we all Americans and we want this country to be number one. That's what the issue is. This is Detroit's HPTV, signing to you out of Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe. As always, salute to all patriots. Peace. Keep your head on a swivel.